everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your weekly baseball history podcast. This is show number 235. We've done it. We finally made it to the to our goal. This was what we wanted.
My lifetime batting average.
You wish.
That's my on base.
Yeah, this was all we were shooting for when we started this podcast. Make it to show 235.
Everything else is just gravy from now on.
Yeah,
man.
that's right. My name is Jeff. I'm one half of the show. That other voice you hear is the second half of the show. That is Mark A. Johnston. Mark, 235. We're here.
I'm ecstatic. I'm also just plain static. So very exciting to do 235. I know you got something really cool planned for the show. We have a very special guest who's not going to be here.
And of course, the third half of the show is you, the listener. So thank you very much. All right, let's get right into it here. Let's get into our BP segment. Show 235, as I said. In show 234, we came across something that we had to dig up, and I couldn't do it immediately while we were recording. But here it is. Mark, I played it for you before we came on, but this is the clip from The Simpsons that we brought up last week that is just great.
Oh, check it out. I'm Toma Kazoka of the Montreal Expos. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm Esteban of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
And I'm the man at the ballpark everyone hates.
The umpire?
No, Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal out here taking strays.
Nice.
Milhouse is my favorite.
Milhouse is pretty awesome. I like Ralph Wiggum. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say Ralph.
That's how you spit it out. Ralph Wiggum.
Ralph is my favorite. I say, it tastes like burning. Like, that's
my
probably
favorite
it.
line. That one. And I bit my Wookiee.
A couple of times a week, I'll throw that out there. Let's see. We got some other stuff to talk about. Hey, are you a member of Costco?
Yes.
Hey, I am too. And you know what? Because we can get a great deal on a baseball-related product.
Oh, nice. What? Tell me.
This is online only. There is only one available. And you can, if you are a Costco member, get a Mickey Mantle autographed 1951 Bowman rookie card.
Whoa.
It is
sweet.
graded. The autograph is graded a 10. The card is only graded a 4.
That's actually good for that time of history.
Yeah,
4's not bad.
The card shows some wear, but the autograph has been it's been graded as perfect, which is pretty cool. Now,
nice.
Normally I don't know how much this would cost, but since this is Costco, I can assume that the price tag of $249,999.99 is well below what you would pay for it outside of Costco.
Well, yeah, it's a big box warehouse store. Absolutely. It probably runs more like $253,000
at Best Buy or one of those other places. Yeah.
Now, I get 5% off for the type of membership I have. That translates to a lot of money here.
Well, let's start a GoFundMe. What do you say? Let's do a GoFundMe, and let's, as a podcast, everybody listening, let's contribute and let's own this card.
I'm totally up for it. All we need is one billionaire listener.
And we'll keep it in my place.
We will?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture if you want it.
Oh,
This is part of the description of the product. Immerse yourself in the nostalgia of a bygone era as you gaze upon this meticulously preserved artifact. Whether you're a seasoned collector or an avid fan, owning this autographed gem is an unparalleled opportunity to honor the legacy of Mickey Mantle.
wow. I want to honor the legacy of Mickey Mantle.
Well, I do too, but I guess if I had $250,000 just laying around, I would buy this. I don't, so I can't. So let's crowdfund this.
I thought you had that kind of bank just laying around.
Well, my last Two Strike Noise contract didn't come through.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. It's the end of the year, so we're getting a lot of those kind of raps, Spotify rap and YouTube and Twitch and all those social media things. Baseball Reference had to get in on it as well. They've done a lot, but I was just focusing on the Immaculate Grid. I thought that I had gotten a personalized one of these things, but I can't find it now. Maybe I was misremembering, as Roger Clemens said. But let's see, the most guest players in Immaculate Grid from the last year. Did you get this? Did you look at this?
I did not.
Now, who do you think the most guest player was?
The most guest player. Boy, that's tough because is it someone super popular or is it someone that's played for a lot of teams?
This is most guest, and I will tell you the number. Actually, most of these guys did not play for more than a handful of teams. So this is not Edwin Jackson. This is not Ricky Henderson. This is not Bartolo Colon.
Let's go with Ivan Rodriguez.
No. He actually played for, well, I guess he played for a handful, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Albert Pujols.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is, I mean, I guess he's getting all of those non-team categories, like the awards, because, I mean, he only played for St. Louis, the Dodgers, and the Angels, right? Those are the only 3 teams. So number 2 is Miguel Cabrera, who's played for 2 teams. But again, I think they're using these for the accolades. Then you got Greg Maddux, Barry Bonds, your boy Nolan Ryan, number 5.
Very nice.
Again, accolades. Every one of these guys is or will be a certain Hall of Famer, except for Barry Bonds and A-Rod.
Right.
Everybody else is already in or is named Pujols, Cabrera, Verlander, or Suzuki.
Gotcha.
The cheat codes, though, number 1 was Edwin Jackson. Ricky was number 5. Just like your guy was the number 5 top guest guy, mine's the number 5 cheat code.
Nice.
But Kenny Lofton might be my number 1 used cheat code. I think of him every day.
Yeah, he got around a little.
Yeah, especially at the end of his career, he did. Wedding news, Mark, and I'm sure you're on top of this already. Vanessa Hudgens got married.
Oh, okay.
But now I say that because I know you're a big High School Musical fan.
Right. Is that a show or is it a movie?
Now, I know, well, it's both, right? I mean, it was first a movie on the Disney Channel, and then it became a TV show. I think they've had a couple of different spin-offs, different movies and stuff. But she married Cole Tucker. Pitcher.
Really?
No, I guess he's a shortstop. I think he's a free agent right now, but he's played for the Pirates and the Rockies. They got married. Quite a wedding party here. Cody Bellinger was one of the groomsmen. Mitch Keller was there as well. So, it was a Major League Baseball thing. Scott Kingery was also in the court, or whatever they call it.
Wow.
Let's see. If you are going to be in the Phoenix, specifically the Tempe, Arizona area in the latter end of February, maybe you were a pitcher and catcher and you're reporting, or maybe that's getting close to just reporting date for everybody. There is a music festival you really need to be checking out here. It is called I think it's just called Innings, but scheduled to appear. It does not say perform, but scheduled to appear. Ryan Dempster, which I guess he's going to probably be doing impressions. Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, Luis Gonzalez, Dave Stewart. I don't know what he's doing. I'll ask him about that. Brandon Webb, Dontrell Willis, Eric Gagne. I'll never pronounce it right. And Brett Saberhagen.
Wow.
So, if Brett Saberhagen is there, what he is doing, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's going to play his hit.
Cause they got the trucks that are on the ball. From work to play, they've got it all. They've got a base, that's a real steal. And here's another very good deal. Or choose the truck named after me, the special edition Ford MVP.
Do you think they'll set him up on like a DJ table?
I don't think there's any question. He's probably going to be the closing act.
Well, I don't know. This is it's a weekend-long festival, and this is on Saturday.
So he won't be the closing act.
It does not look like it. Let's see. Appearing on Sunday, along with Ryan Dempster, again, we've got Adrian Gonzalez, Ryan Braun, Tim Raines, Raleigh Fingers, Eric Karros, Bobby Valentine, Mark Mulder, and Russ Ortiz.
Nice.
Wow. I don't know what they're going to be doing. Are they just like signing autographs or what? I don't know. But
maybe they're doing karaoke.
Maybe. It looks like Dave Matthews is headlining it on Saturday.
He didn't play baseball.
The Gin Blossoms are listed here. I did not know they were still together. One of my favorite bands from college. But
I like the Gin Blossoms.
I do too. Jealousy, right? And Allison Road.
Hey, Jealousy.
So if you're going to be there, let us know, because I want to know what goes on at this thing.
No kidding. Jeff will fund 3 or 4 people to go to the big show.
Well, assuming after I buy that Mickey Mantle card, I have any left over.
Right. That's first on his list. And then after that.
Then we're sending listeners to this music festival.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But you have to report in like at least once every 10 minutes.
Yeah. And you just got to hold your phone up so we can hear it and listen to the whole concert.
That's the best way to watch a concert is through the phone of the jerk in front of you.
And also you have to get interviews with all of the players.
Every one of them.
Yeah. This is a working vacation, folks. Let's see. I don't know if you know this, Mark, but there was a big signing since our last show in Major League Baseball. I know it hasn't gotten a lot of publicity. I know nobody's been paying attention.
No, I heard rumors, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. Obviously, we're talking about Shohei Ohtani and his huge $700 million contract with all the deferments. But I found this interesting. From the year 2000 until last year, the team with the most expensive player in baseball each season only won a World Series title 3 times. So, I mean, it's better than none. I mean, it's improving your odds, but still, those players were in 2004. Manny Ramirez was the highest. 2009, it was A-Rod. And in 2019, it was Max Scherzer.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I don't know. I'd say the Dodgers have a pretty good start.
Yeah, they have a pretty well-rounded team.
Oh, and they're not even done. I at the time of this recording, there's some grumblings about a big trade with Tampa. There's more Japanese pitching to be had. Who knows, man? It's something.
Interestingly, I saw that the one other team that offered Ohtani $700 million was the Giants. It came down to those 2 teams, which is not what was all over. especially, I loved the whole, hey, there's a private plane going from Santa Ana Airport to Toronto. It has to be Ohtani. That cracked me up.
Well, to be fair, I saw a lot of people saying it's got to be Ohtani or one of the sharks from Shark Tank. It was always that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Actually, a story that is just getting legs today when we record is that the Giants are actually having a hard time signing free agents because of the perception of San Francisco right now, which I know, I certainly know what it's like living here, but I can understand that. I mean, the taxes here in California are ridiculously high. And San Francisco is kind of like New York in the mid 80s right now. So
Did you see Ohtani's the money he's going to make in 10 years after taxes? $73.
$73. Poor guy. He'll get by. Yeah. Not to change the subject, but I've got this too. I've got to ask a question. I don't know what's going on with baseball announcers recently and their weird diets that we're finding out about, or why we're finding out about their weird diets. A couple of months ago, we found out that Al Michaels claims that he has never eaten a vegetable in his life, which I find hard to believe.
That's kind of awesome. I would do that if I could.
Well, this week we found out that Michael Kay, who is the Yankees announcer, just ate his first ever egg. Again, something hard to believe, but his first ever tortilla chip and the first time he's ever had artichoke dip as well.
Wow. Did he try them both at once?
Well, he's on a cruise right now.
Oh, okay. So he's trying new stuff on the cruise.
Yeah, the tortilla chip, he did dip into the artichoke dip.
How could he have known which he liked better if he ate them both at once?
This is a Yankee. We don't know. So, Mark, you and I, we've been in press boxes before. They offer some pretty good food. I mean, at the Mariners, you can get things to order there. Yes. Every day they've got a couple of different entrees, or you can get custom sandwiches. They've got salad bar. They've got it all. It's a pretty good deal.
Crickets. They've got crickets.
Do they have those up there now?
They do, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't have those when I would have tried them then. Point being, you're living pretty right if you're eating in the press dining room.
Yes.
But this guy went and had, for his egg, he had an egg white omelet. And he didn't like it. And he says he's never eating eggs again. He ate an egg white omelet on a cruise ship.
You got to have the whole thing.
Yeah. Is that really the best representation of egg fare?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Egg white omelet is like a plain, who knows, there's no flavor in it. Yeah. Besides, the yolk has all kind of antioxidants in it. I think eggs are good for you again. They were bad for you for a while, but I know they're good for you now.
If you need another reason to hate the Yankees, this is it. And likewise, how can this man be trusted to call a Major League Baseball game? He can't compare anything to an egg.
This is true.
Or a tortilla chip. Or to artichoke dip. It's Which often, those are three things that often come up during baseball games. That's why.
Generally speaking, yeah. It's kind of weird to hear that because I'm the kind of guy that'll look on the menu and find the weirdest possible thing and order it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a foodie. The wife and I are foodies. We like to go out and try new things, and I can't imagine not ever having an egg, or if you're going to have something, have the most simple, tasteless version of it and then declare it a failure.
Yeah. Just a warning. You don't need to try the salmon tartare. Don't try it.
Oh, really?
You don't want to go there.
I love all forms of salmon, so I'm going to, except for smoked salmon. I do not like smoked salmon. I love raw salmon. I've got a couple of different ways to make salmon, so we're going to have to differ.
I like steak tartare, salmon tartare. I can't go back there. No, thank you.
All right. Your Pacific Northwest card is about to be pulled.
I tried it. I don't even like salmon in general.
All right. Well, I'll give the authorities your address. Don't worry. Let's see. Let's get down to trivia, Mark, before we get into the main part of the show. Last week, I asked a question. I gave you two names of which listeners of this show are no doubt familiar with: Mike Hampton and Gary Sheffield. They share a record. What? A record, you say? One is a pitcher. One is a awful defensive big bat outfielder.
Yes.
What could that record be? Do you have any idea?
I only have an idea because there were some people that wrote in with the correct answer.
Oh, well then, yes, please tell me who wrote in and what did they guess?
Well, I got the guy I think is right is his name is Rich V, and he said each of them won the Silver Slugger Award for 4 different teams.
Very nice. Wow.
Rich, you nailed it.
Very nice. I've got one of our longtime listeners, Brian Krause, likewise sent me the same answer.
Very nice. That's a tough one.
Yeah, until I asked Brian how he figured out the answer, and he told me, and I figured I'm going to have to ask these in a different form because he just Googled what I read. But regardless, very nice. Thank you, Orange Slices, Sunny D, all around for everybody that got that right. Let's get into our next question. And this one, I had to do a little research because I was reading about it and the article I read had the wrong answer and I wanted to check on it. So I now know the correct answer. But who was the last batter to get a hit off of Satchel Paige?
Ooh, that's tough. It wasn't Dan Howard, was it?
No, it was not. Although, Satchel was probably available to pitch when Dan Howard was playing in the late 80s.
He was still tossing somewhere.
Article I originally read said that the answer to the guy that got the last hit was the last guy he struck out, and that was just not true. And I didn't believe it, so I had to do research, and now I know who got the last hit and who his last strikeout was, but I'm just asking about the hit.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to give that some thought.
All right. So we'll wait around till the end of the show, and we'll tell you how to get a hold of us, because that's the only way you're going to know. So you have to sit through this. Let's get into the main segment of the show. And I've got a story this week, Mark, that I happen to see something on social media about the subject that I had picked, which I will get to at the end. But we've talked about a lot of baseball players playing overseas. We've even spoken to some of them about their experiences there. Some have had good experiences, but most find it very hard, and a good deal of them end up on a flight home before even finishing a single season. We want to give a tip of the hat to former guest Don August, who played in Taiwan for 2 years, Vance Law, who played in 1990 for the entire season in Japan, and Bobby Valentine, who managed there and speaks fluent Japanese. Also told us that he designed their warm-up jackets.
Great.
The last one, okay, he was on the show, we'll believe him. But in the late 70s, early 80s, though, it was, should we say it was not rich with MLB talent in the NPB? Not a big thing for big leaguers. But Leron Lee graduated from Grant High School in Sacramento with 36 college football scholarships. But he did the smart thing, and he said, hey, I want to play baseball. Entered the MLB draft and was the first-round draft pick by the Cardinals in 1966 and ended up making it to the big leagues with St. Louis in 1969. He played 3 seasons there before being traded to the Padres during the 71 season, where he spent another 2.5 seasons in Southern California. He bounced around between Cleveland and the Dodgers before being released by LA after the 1976 season. In total, he spent 8 years in the big leagues. He was the epitome of an average fourth outfielder. His best year was clearly 1972 when he hit 300, knocked 12 home runs, and drove in 47. None of his other seasons even came close to any of these numbers, and he finished his big league career with a 2.1 career WAR. He did have some highlights during his time in Major League Baseball. His first big league home run came off of future Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins on July 4th, 1972. So I'm guessing that was probably in front of like a packed house, July 4th game.
Yeah.
Leron broke up a no-hit bid by Tom Seaver of the Mets, getting a single in the ninth inning with one out.
Oh, how rude.
So, after being released by the Dodgers, Leron signed with the Lotte Orions, who are now the Chiba Lotte Marines. There's another throwback to Bobby Valentine right there.
Yeah.
In his first season in the NPB, Leron hit .317 with 34 home runs and 109 runs batted in, good for a .978 OPS. He led the Pacific League in home runs and RBI and was named an All-Star. Not bad for a rookie import, especially at that point, because people coming over from the big leagues weren't this good. Although he wasn't great in the big leagues, but they didn't know what they got. But Leron had a younger brother called Leon, who was also drafted by the Cardinals in 1971. He kicked around the minors, managing to make it as high as AAA a couple of times, but never got that call to the big leagues, despite putting up better numbers in the minors than his brothers did. During the offseason, Leron suggested to the Lotte front office, hey, maybe you can sign my brother. After the season Leron had there in Japan, they said, hey, why not? So Leon did not disappoint. In his NPB rookie season, he hit .316 with 19 homers and drove in 73, just a precursor to what he would do the rest of his career in Japan. Leron spent 12 seasons in Japan, all with Lotte, finishing with a .317 career average, .380 on base, 298 home runs, and 969 RBI. Leon likewise ended up playing in Japan for 10 seasons, 5 with Lotte, 3 with the Taiyo Whales, and the final 2 with the Yakult Swallows.
Sorry. Big Yakult fan, not as big as I am a ham fighter.
Oh, okay. All right. You just like the probiotic goodness of the Yakult Swallows.
That's right.
He ended up with a .308 average, .372 on base, 268 home runs, and knocked in 884. 1980 was possibly the best career season for any pair of brothers anywhere in the history of baseball in the entire universe. Leon hit .340 with a .401 on base, 41 home runs, and 116 RBI.
Wow.
Leron won the batting title with a .358 average, .398 on base, 33 home runs, and 90 RBI.
Wow.
That's a combined 74 home runs and 206 RBI by your number 3 and 4 hitters, who just happen to be brothers for the Lotte Orions. And they also caused problems for the opposition, as Leron batted left and Leon was a righty.
That's amazing.
Think if you had Corey and Kyle Seager batting 3 and 4.
Right.
They would have a hard time matching this, especially Kyle.
I know.
So the two brothers thrived in Japan, and I mean really thrived, not just on the field, but they embraced the entire culture. Leon became fluent in Japanese within a couple of years, and during his time with the Whales, he was actually one of the first players to be mic'd up during a game, which is cool. I mean, that's something we're just seeing today, kind of become more mainstream. But while he was mic'd up, he shocked everybody in the booth as he was picked up casually chatting in Japanese to his teammates. They adopted to the training methods of the league, which is a kind of a big sticking point for a lot of foreign players, even today. But they said it was like playing a doubleheader each day, and they ended up being in the best shape of their lives.
There you go.
I'm gonna go play in Japan. Is what I need to
get yourself in gear and go play in a Japanese fantasy camp.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what their fantasy camps are like. The fans love them for their play, but they also love them because of the respect that they showed for their country. I found a great story about Leron and an interaction he had with a fan during a game. He said, quote, "I was in right field and our outfield coach was telling me to move toward the line because the right-handed batter at the plate tended to hit the ball the opposite field. I did, but one of the fans right there in the stands by the foul line kept telling me to move over even more. The coach at this point is telling me to stop. You have gone too far. Stop. But I kept going until I was almost to the line where the fan told me to go. The batter then hit the ball right down the line and right into my glove. That fan knew what he was talking about."
Well, you got to know who to trust in life. I've never been good at that, though.
Some random fan.
Yeah.
The brothers' success is all more impressive when you hear about the challenges they faced as foreigners in the NPB. The strike zone was, shall we say, Eric Gregg-like in terms of width for them. And that's not a body shaming thing. I'm referencing the Eric Gregg, playoff game with the Marlins and that strike zone.
Yes.
Just to clarify that. Leon said that once he told his manager to ask the umpires about it, his manager just smiled back at him and said, hey, maybe you should just get a longer bat. They would have hits ruled as errors when nobody was even close to the ball, but it was ruled as an error because the official scorer said the defensive player was out of position. Of course, these only applied to the foreign players.
I've never heard of that. That's funny.
Yeah. After Leron won the batting title in 1980, he was presented with the award in a small ceremony in the clubhouse rather than in front of fans. He won the batting title also without sponsorships. He had to buy all of his own bats and won the batting title with his own bats.
Oh my gosh.
So we've talked about players like Randy Bass and Tuffy Rhodes being walked intentionally as they neared records set by Japanese players. Sadaharu Oh especially.
Yeah.
Both records and the person walking them. Leon experienced something similar as he was on the verge of breaking the single season mark for home runs against a single team. He had 16 against the Buffaloes and just needed one more, but he was walked every time he went to the plate against them. He even switched and batted left-handed, even though he was a right-handed batter, and they still walked him. It's funny because on his baseball reference page, it lists him as a switch hitter because of this, because he hadn't had batting from the left.
He was trying, man.
He was really trying to get them to throw him anything. They were treated well, as I said, by the fans, but the owners and the media were relentless. They were constantly pushing the pro-Japanese narrative where Japanese players needed to be the best in the league. Leron broke the record for career hits for a player with 4,000 or more at-bats. In response, the league immediately created new categories for those which were 5,000 and more or 6,000 and more at-bats to ensure that a foreigner would not be at the top of that list.
Wow.
After winning the home run and RBI championships, but barely missing out on the batting title in his brilliant first season, a team executive for Lotte said that the team might have won the pennant if only Leron had won the Triple Crown.
Oh, what a loser.
Yeah, I know. Come on, man.
How could he not win the Triple Crown?
That's why they didn't make the playoffs. But in one game, Leon hit 2 home runs and had 6 RBI, but his team lost the game 8-7. The story in the paper the next day focused on the fact that he'd stranded 2 runners in his first at-bat.
Jeez.
And in 1985, after a season in which he batted .303 with 31 home runs and 110 RBI in 128 games, the Whales released Leon. The reason was that they didn't think he hit when the team needed him to. I mean, this is just,
oh my! I think they might have released him for other reasons.
Yeah. Well, I haven't mentioned it here, and I guess maybe if you don't know who Leon and Leron are, they are African American, and besides just being foreign, this had a lot to do with some of this treatment as well.
Yeah, that's sad.
They were very popular, though, when MLB teams would come over to play exhibition games after the regular season ended. Don Baylor traveled around with Leon during a tour of Japan following the 90 season and recalled how fans cheered for Lee while clearly they hated Bob Horner. Horner, of course, had played 1 season in the NPB and put up great numbers, but he turned down a lucrative contract extension and then just badmouthed the league when he went back to Major League Baseball. They called Horner the ugly American after that. While in Japan, Leon would bring his son Derek over during the regular season. So this is Leon Lee and his son is Derek. Now, if the name Derek Lee rings a bell, that's because he's a 15-year Major League veteran.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So Yokohama infielder Daisuke Yamashita often worked with Derek when he would be there as a youth. And Derek went on to be an all-star, a Gold Glove winner. He won a batting title and a World Series ring with the Marlins in 2003. Both Leon and Leron retired after the 1987 season. Leron is currently second all-time in the NPB career batting average table, led only by Nori Aoki, who of course played in the big leagues and has got a great Star Wars nickname, Nori Bibi Aoki.
Yes.
Aoki only overtook him after he came back from playing in the big leagues and played a little bit more in the NPB. Leron went on to be the batting coach for the Oakland Athletics in 1989. I did not know that.
Wow.
You know, they did something in 1989.
Yeah, I've heard rumors.
Yeah, I was completely unaware of that. But at Fantasy Camp, I'm going to ask the 89 guys about Leron. I mean, they have to remember him, obviously.
Yeah.
Leon likewise had success after retiring. His familiarity with Japan and the Japanese game led him to being hired to work on the set of the 1992 movie Mr. Baseball, which is one of my top 3 baseball movies. I love Mr. Baseball.
Totally makes sense.
He selected most of the extras and worked heavily in many aspects of the production, as well as being an extra himself. He, Tom Selleck, and Dennis Haysbert had dinner together several times a week for 4 to 5 months while filming and became good friends. He went on to become the Cubs' Japanese scout, and in 2003, he was hired as the hitting coach for the Oryx Blue Wave. But 20 games into that 2003 season, the Blue Wave fired their manager, and Lee was promoted to the top spot, making him the first black manager in NPB history.
Wow.
He stepped down after the season with a record of 41, 76, and 3. There were a couple of names MLB fans might recognize from that team: Roosevelt Brown, Scott Sheldon, Max Suzuki, and Masato Yoshi.
Wow.
The brothers are still popular in Japan and still make appearances at Chiba Marines games. The two hold the second highest home run total for a brother duo at 551, topped only, of course, by Henry and Tommy Aaron's 768. Henry, of course, doing most of the heavy lifting.
There was about 50-50 there, I think.
The DiMaggios clock in at 573, but of course there were 3 of them. So we're just talking about duos here. A couple of things to tie up this story. 1980. The brothers recorded a children's song called Baseball Boogie that rose to the 12th spot on the Japanese charts. Leon says that he wrote the words for this song while sitting on a train that had been halted because of a snowstorm. It sold well, I'm putting that in quotes, and fans would actually sing it each time they came to bat. And here is a little bit of the only recording that I could find.
You gotta hit 'em far away. Be a superstar.
So that goes on for another 3 minutes.
Which must seem like an hour.
I mean, honestly, though, it is that's exactly like the Super Bowl shuffle and those kind of
yes, it is.
Rap, songs that teams and athletes were putting out at that time. But
he's no Saberhagen.
Well, yeah, I know this is the second rap that we've had on the show today already.
The rap episode.
Yeah. Now, it should be noted that Baseball Boogie is the name of that song, but there's another famous baseball song called Baseball Boogie by Mabel Scott that was used quite a bit in the Ken Burns documentary Baseball, and frankly, it slaps.
If I pitch, can you catch? Will you hold the ball? When you step to the plate, will you swing and fall? If you play, you gotta know how it's done. Can you catch? Can you hold a hard one? Baby, do you know the game? Baby, do you know the game? I'm a big league pitcher. Can you catch the hairline swing?
So this is only a 2.5 minute song, and frankly is brilliant, and I love it. It's
fantastic.
It's great. I think we just found our new theme song right there. And finally, this is a story that was actually making the rounds on baseball social media this week, and it just so happened to match up, and I had not seen this story in any of the research that I did. So I'm living right, and I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. During his first season in Japan with Lotte, Leon was often seen at local arcades playing the hit Space Invaders.
Nice.
Do you just remember how basic Space Invaders was? Too?
It was, but man, it was so cool.
Yeah, well, the team caught wind of this and promised Leon his very own Space Invaders arcade game if he could surpass his 1978 home run total of 19. He hit 35 the next year, so I'm gotta assume that they kept their word and gave him his very own Space Invaders game.
That's awesome.
There you go, Leon and Leron Lee. And
that was cool, man.
Hopefully I'll have some follow-up. So apparently a couple of years ago, they had, I think it was Leon, had his own podcast.
Really?
Where he had some guys on that I had never heard of, but I'm going to hit some people up at Fantasy Camp who might even know him. Maybe we can get a hold of him because I would love to hear some stories from him.
I was just going to say, I bet he can tell us some great tales.
Yeah, if you want, just do a Google search and there's plenty of videos of him. He has been out and about, but very interesting. Leon and Leron Lee.
Great stuff, man.
All right, let's get to the final segment of the show. It is everybody's favorite. It is the time where we open up some old baseball cards and we remember things that we had forgotten from previous episodes when we looked up the same players. It is time for Wax Packs Heroes.
Wax Pack Hero! Gonna pull a Wax Pack Hero! Don't stop singing Wax Pack Hero! On the podcast tonight.
All right, Mark, looking at the scoreboard, this is a foregone conclusion. The season is almost over. This is a blowout. I will accept your resignation if you want to go that far. Looking at the scoreboard, I lead 15-11 and we're playing to 20. So
yeah, we're not starting to panic yet, but we are looking at making trades at the deadline.
Oh, well, as the commissioner, I've moved the deadline up and you've missed it. So that's
well, we're going to sign somebody from the Blue Jays then.
Oh, okay. Maybe Ohtani. Let's see. So let's get right into it here. If you're new here, what we do is we open up some baseball cards, generally wax packs, a little bit newer today, but generally wax packs, and we take the Baseball Reference War of the Year of the Pack, and we add those up. But that's not all we do. We have some things that can add or subtract points. If there's anything on the player's face, that means a teardrop tattoo, Brady Anderson's sideburns, mustache, glasses, anything like that, that's an extra 1/10 of a point. If it's a great mustache, Tom Selleck, Mr. Baseball mustache, you're going to get 2/10 of a point because that's impressive. If we can see real stirrups, meaning we can see sanitaries, that's an extra 1/10 of a point. But if we see 2 and 1s, that's a minus 1/10 of a point. Any awards they won that year, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, All-Star, or a Gold Glove, that's a 1/2 a point each. If there is a Hall of Famer on the card, whether they're the focus or not, that is a whole extra point. If Ricky Henderson appears on any card throughout this segment, I get 5 points. If Nolan Ryan does, those 5 points go to Mark. If there are any pop culture references that we can find, you get a 1/2 point each for those, unless the pop culture reference is in regards to Seinfeld, The Simpsons, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, in which you will get a whole point for each of them. Steve Sachs being, of course, the big get there. And
ultimate.
Yeah. And let's see, if you were named in the Mitchell Report or suspended for PEDs or other atrocities during your career, that is a minus 1/2 a point. And Mark and I each pick one team. If my team shows up in any part of this segment, I get 1/2 a point. And if Mark's does, I might give myself that 1/2 a point as well. I haven't decided yet. All right, Mark, what team are you picking this week?
Well, I'm going to go with the Nippon Ham Fighters. Or does it have to be an American team?
Well, no, I'm happy. I don't think we're going to pull a Nippon Ham Fighters from this pack. So that's easy, no points for you.
Okay, I'd like to switch then.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers.
Ham Fighters, Tigers. Very
as close as I can get.
Let's see. I'm going to go ahead since the Lees were both drafted by the Cardinals. I think I'm going to go with the Cards.
Very nice.
Keep it topical. All right. We are finishing up these packs of 2003 tops. We had some great cards last week. Some good cards we hadn't pulled before, and some good Tomaoka Esteban Yan, Simpsons stuff that we had forgotten about. But I've got 2 packs here, Mark, one in my left hand and one in my right hand. Which one would you like?
Well, let's see. Last week I went with the right and I got trounced, even though I had a really good score. So I'm figuring I'm going to go with the right again.
All right. I'm going to have you go first. Let's go ahead here and let's see what we got. We're going to start off. This could be a good poll for you here to start off with. It is outfielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, Greg Vaughn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's see. 15 years in the big leagues for Greg Vaughn. 8 with Milwaukee, 3 with Tampa, 3 with the Padres, and then Colorado and Cincinnati for short stints. Let's see. In 2003, it was his final year in the big leagues. That was in Colorado. He only appeared in 22 games. Oh, wow. You're getting the raw end of this.
Man.
Only 3 home runs, a 189 average, and still a 103 OPS plus. But that will equal a minus 0.1 WAR. Good news for you is he's got facial hair, but nothing else on this card is going to help. He's got socks pulled up to his knee, but there's no sanitaries. So nothing is going to help you there. And obviously no awards.
Well, that's brutal.
Wow. Look at this. He was drafted 5 times before he finally signed. Drafted in 84, 5th round by the Cardinals. Later that year, 4th round by the Brewers. 85, 1st round by the Pirates. Didn't sign. Then 3rd round by the Angels. And then finally in 86, 1st round, 4th overall by the Brewers and signed.
Wow. That's a very highly sought after player.
Yeah, but he had other things going on. I guess he wanted to finish college.
Yeah, good for him. Greg Vaughn had that goatee and actually became the reason the Cincinnati Reds changed their policy of no facial hair, because when he got traded from the Padres to the Reds, he refused to shave off his goatee. And the fans were like, he'd hit like 40 home runs the year before. And they were like, Marge shot, or as we like to call her, Marge, she should be shot, lifted the policy, and he was allowed to keep his facial hair.
That's weird that she would do that for an African-American.
Right? That's crazy. Yeah. That policy had been around since 1967.
Well, you think that's antiquated. The Yankees still adhere to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
That's just stupid. Let it go.
As a facial hair guy, I agree.
Yeah, well, that's a good note. Yeah, we have no love for Marge Schott. We say her last name's different when we're not on the air around here. University of Miami is where Greg Vaughn played, though. And they had a good team. They had good teams back then.
355 career home runs.
Yeah, he had good pop.
That's a lot of home runs.
Good pop. Let's see. So that will balance out to 0 for your first card, Greg Vaughn.
Nice. Well, at least we get some stories.
Well, this is good, though. Your next card is a Mariner, and he's Japanese. Very timely for what we've been talking about. It's not Ichiro. It's a closer. I'm going to guess you're going to be able to guess who it is.
I'm going to go with Kazuhiro Sasaki.
Exactly. Did Mariner fans call him Kaz? I always just, it was Kaz Sasaki.
Kaz Sasaki or Sasaki-san.
Yeah, there we go. 4 years in the big leagues. I thought he was around for a little bit longer, but obviously he played in Japan beforehand and he played in Japan afterhand. Afterhand? Is that a word?
Well, yeah, we're using it, darn afterhand.
Afterhand. We're making it a word. Let's see. In the big leagues, all 4 years were with the Mariners. Let's see. 2003, you've got a theme going here, was his final year. He appeared in 35 games, a 1-2 record with a 4.05 ERA and only 10 saves, 29 strikeouts in 33 innings for a 107 ERA plus, and that is a WAR of positive 0.1.
Oh, good.
Nothing else in this pictures in this card is going to help you. Of course, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2000.
Yes.
Boy, 2-5 with a 3.16 ERA and 37 saves, 78 strikeouts in 62 innings.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. In Japan, before he came over, he played for the Taiyo Whales and the Yokohama Bay Stars. Then he played in Seattle, went back and played 2 more years for Yokohama.
Yeah, I used to love watching him come in. We had a really cool entrance for him and everything.
Let's see, 252 career saves in Japan.
Wow.
129 in only 4 seasons in the majors, though. He closed better in the in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, interestingly, he's a very successful racehorse owner.
Right up your alley.
Exactly.
Now,
I might have to get some tips from him.
I think you're going to have to get some pop culture points here because he appeared as a judge on Iron Chef.
Oh, sweet.
And he has a side recording career with an album of his vocals over techno beats.
Okay, we got to find something there.
Yeah, that'll be next week. We will hopefully have some Kaz Sasaki techno music.
Very nice. We'll have a dance party.
Okay, let's see. Chose number 22 for his uniform because he was born at 2/22 on February 22nd.
So 2/22 on 2/22.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, I can deal with that. All right, so you're at point 6. Your next card is a pitcher for the San Diego Padres, Bobby Jones.
Very strange name. You don't hear that one very often.
Yeah, not many people named Bobby Jones.
Not the golfer, not the basketball player, not the singer, not the actor, but the pitcher.
Let's see, 10 years in the big leagues, 8 with the Mets, 2 with the Padres. Wow, you're getting some rough cards here. He retired after 2002. He does have facial hair, though, so you'll get the 10th of a point for that. Let's see. Not a great way to end his career. In 2001, he went 8-19, leading the league in losses with a 5.12 ERA and gave up a league-high 37 home runs.
Wow.
Career WAR of 8.1.
Positive WAR.
Yeah, he had much better time in New York than in San Diego. First-round draft pick as well. File that away for your Immaculate Grid grids.
There you go. He and a partner created their own barbecue sauce called Sloppy John's.
Or is it Sloppy Jones?
Local fundraisers, yeah. And he's a wine collector.
Now, why didn't they call it Sloppy Jones? All they need to do is put an E on there, and it becomes Sloppy Jones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do they not consult us? According to this, and this might be outdated, he and his wife reside in Clovis, California, which, if you'll remember, was the high school where the other cheerleading team was from in Bring It On.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, don't sleep on that. All right, so you're at point 7. Next, you get an Oakland Athletic. I love it. I love this guy, even though he wore number 24 for the A's. It is Jermaine Dye. Jermaine Live and Let Die. Is that a thing?
That's not bad.
Let's see, 14 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Royals, 5 with the White Sox, 4 with the A's, and 1 with Atlanta. I remember that. He came up with Atlanta that first year and then went to Kansas City. Let's see, how did he get there? He was traded with Jamie Walker for Keith Lockhart and Michael Tucker.
Hey, Keith Lockhart, an old buddy.
Overall, in 2003 with the A's, he was hurt 65 games. I don't know. I don't remember, maybe this was coming off. He was hurt from 2002 when he fouled the ball off his shin and broke his shin. I have a feeling that might have been it and kept him out of the beginning of this season, or maybe he did it at the end. I don't remember. Somebody will tell me. He only hit 172, 4 home runs, 20 RBI, and a 38 OPS plus, and that equals a WAR of minus 1.8.
I don't know what to do anymore. I'm going to have to fire the manager.
Yeah, you're not having a good day. No facial hair on the picture here of him. Can't see any. I mean, nothing on this card is going to help you out either.
Ouch.
That is rough. Let's see. World Series MVP in 2005 with the Chicago White Sox. He hit .438. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding. Didn't he have a really good arm?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I think he was known for having a gun of an arm.
Royals fans frequently chanted "Dynamite" when he would come up to bat. Was that your Simpsons laugh?
Nelson?
Yeah. Oh, great. Now we're going to get sued.
Again.
All right. So you are now down at a minus 1.1 with 4 cards left. So I'm hoping this keeps up.
I need 4 Hall of Famers, Jeff.
Next, you have got or you just need some Tigers, but you're not getting them so far. Let's see. Next, with the Florida Marlins, it's shortstop Alex Gonzalez. Speaking of another pretty common name.
Not the musician, not the boxer.
Let's see. And there's also been about 15,000 of them, to nobody's surprise, that played baseball. But this Alex Rodriguez, nicknamed Seabass. How? I don't get it. Alex Gonzalez, nicknamed Seabass.
Sea bass. Okay.
I mean, Chris Bassett. I understand how you get sea bass for Chris Bassett, but yeah. Okay. Let's see. 16 years in the big leagues, 8 with the Fish, then 2 apiece for Cincinnati, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Boston, and then 1 for Detroit and Toronto. In 2003, with the Marlins, 150 games, he hit 256, 313 on base, 18 home runs, 77 RBI, and a 96 OPS plus, and that is good for a WAR of, darn it, positive 1.3.
Yes, somebody went positive.
Now, in this card, he's got his sunglasses on top of his hat, but I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
Because it's not technically on his
like
face. Yeah, it's not technically on his face. But that's all you're going to get off of that card. Well, Wikipedia says he was given the nickname Sea Bass while playing in Florida, but gives no possible explanation as to why.
Maybe he was familiar with the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
Cam Neely, the hockey player, that's Sea Bass from Dumb and Dumber. That is something I found out just a little while ago.
That's so funny.
That is. That's very strange. All right. So you're in the positive now. You're at 0.3. Next, you've got a member of the Dodgers. It is Andy Ashby.
Boy, I'm getting nothing but big names.
Well, we know all these names. They're just, they've got long careers, but they're kind of mid.
Yeah.
Let's see. Andy Ashby, 14 years in the big leagues, 8 with the Padres, 3 with the Phillies and Dodgers, and then 1 apiece for Colorado and Atlanta. 2003 was his penultimate season. This with the Dodgers. He went 3-10 with a 5.18 ERA, 73 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts, a 78 ERA plus, and that is good for a WAR of minus 0.4.
Fantastic.
Nothing on this card is going to help you out either.
Uncle of Aaron Ashby, by the way.
Who is Aaron Ashby?
Aaron Ashby, Milwaukee Brewers pitcher.
Like current?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, he's got a 2024 projection. He last played in 2022, and last year spent the entire year in the minors. A, AA, and AAA. So
interesting.
Might see some.
That's why I thought he was gone. He wasn't gone. He was just preparing for 2024.
Yes. Boy, it's not really interesting.
Well, I tell you what, I really picked the winner here.
All right, let's see. I am going to like this because your second to last card is a Cardinal, which is my team.
Oh, nice.
So that's a minus half a point right off the bat there. So with the Cardinals, it is catcher and future Major League manager Mike Matheny. 13 years in the big leagues, 5 with St. Louis, 5 with Milwaukee, 2 with the Giants, and 1 with Toronto. 2003 with St. Louis, he, as a catcher, I mean, it looks like he played some first base as well. 141 games. Wow. Hit 252, 320 on base, 8 home runs, 47 RBI, a 79 OPS plus. Good news for you. He won 4 Gold Gloves in his career, and this was one of those years.
Nice.
So that's going to negate my Cardinal penalty there for you. And let's see. Overall, a WAR of positive 0.1, which will take you back to 0. There's nothing on this card that is going to help you out either.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was the worst ever.
Let's see. I mean, let's check his pop culture reference. Maybe there's a Simpsons episode where somebody says, "Hey, I'm Mike Matheny of the St. Louis Cardinals." Probably not, but let's just check it out. All right. So not only are you getting just mid players stat wise, but in terms of interesting facts about your players,
not of those, yeah.
Not a lot of it. All right. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to give you extra points.
Oh, yeah?
For the Florida Marlins, first baseman, son of Leon Lee. It's Derek Lee.
What are the odds?
Wow, that is incredible.
Wow.
I've already got his page open here because I had it open for the main story. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a whole point just right off the bat for that, for being related to the main topic of the episode. Wow.
Appreciate that.
Let's see. Derek Lee, 15 years in the big leagues. I already hit up all of his superlatives during the main segment here. Let's see.
Yeah.
In 2003 with the Fish, he appeared in 155 games, 271 average, 379 on base, 31 home runs, 92 RBI, 21 stolen bases. He won a Gold Glove, received MVP votes, a 131 OPS plus, and that is good for a 2.9.
Thank you, Derek Lee.
So that'll be a 3.4 with the Gold Glove. Plus, he has got a goatee, so that'll be an extra tenth of a point. We have never had this happen before, where we have
that's amazing.
pulled somebody that is related or has been mentioned in the main segment. Let's see. Lee was a first-round draft pick of the San Diego Padres in 1993. He was traded by the Padres to the Marlins for Kevin Brown. Remember that trade? Let's see. Interesting notes here. Son of Leon Lee. So we mentioned Leon Lee. Obviously, his father was scouting in Japan for the Cubs at one point. But apparently, he is the one that signed Hee-seop Choi to the big leagues, who was later traded for his son, Derek Lee.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. So you are going to finish up with a very bold 4.5.
Well, you know what? I have to be grateful for a 4.5.
Yeah, because it should be a 3.5. I gave you an extra point for Derek Lee.
And I'm going to win by a point because
well, then I'll take it away.
Deed goes unpunished.
I will take it away if it comes down.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So my pack, I'm going to start off with the Seattle Mariner Hall of Famer. Not a Hall of Famer, but a Seattle Mariner Hall of Famer. Catcher Dan Wilson.
Yes, he is in the Seattle Mariners Hall of Fame and number retired.
Came up with the Cincinnati Reds. I remember that. 14 years in the big leagues, 12 with the Mariners, 2 with the Reds. Let's see. In 2003, he caught 96 games, 241 average, 272 on base, 4 home runs, 43 RBI, a 64 OPS plus, and that is good for a WAR of positive 0.2.
I will take. Oh wait, it's not me anymore.
Yeah,
you will take.
I will take that. Nothing else on the card is going to help me out. Let's see. Dan Wilson traded by the Reds with Bobby Ayala to the Mariners for Brett Boone and Eric Hansen.
Wow, I don't remember that, but it makes sense now.
I remember all those players on the Mariners.
Oh, definitely.
Let's see. He was Randy John. He wasn't his personal catcher, but I'd say he caught 95% of Randy Johnson's games.
Yeah, he was behind the plate for most of Randy's games. Yeah.
Let's see. Does a lot of work with Root Sports that carries the Mariners games. He didn't catch a perfect game, but he called Felix Hernandez's perfect game.
Wow, interesting.
I hear somebody scored that game on site and was...
Yeah, it's still a bone of contention for me.
Living legend. All right, next, oh God, I got the catcher pack here. Next, we've got catcher for the Montreal Expos, Michael Barrett.
Michael Grin and Barrett.
Ooh. I remember, because he played Atlanta a lot when I was there, and I remember the player notes for each player. His was the same for like 7 years. It was like we knew what they were before they put them up. Let's see. Michael Barrett, 12 years in the big league, 6 with Montreal, 4 with the Cubs, 2 with the Padres, 1 with Toronto. In 2003 with Montreal, 70 games, a 208 average, 280 on base, 10 home runs, 30 RBI, and a 71 OPS plus, and that is good for a WAR of minus 0.1.
Wow.
I don't like it. Now, do I get any points here because he's a catcher, and this is an action shot. He's taken his mask off, and instead of a helmet underneath this, he's just got his cap turned backwards. Is that worth a point, like being related to the main topic of the show?
Well, there is another relation to the main topic.
How's that?
He worked with Ryan Dempster to raise money to help Derek Lee's daughter.
Wow. This is the Lee show.
Yes.
Very nice. First round draft pick by the Expos. They have a history of drafting catchers in the first round. I guess Tom Brady wasn't a first round draft pick, was he?
Guess not.
No. Let's see. Then he was traded from the Expos to the A's for Brett Price. And then the A's traded him to the Cubs for Damian Miller. I remember Damian. Because Damian came up with the Twins. And so I saw him play in Salt Lake a lot. Remember that? Oh, that's right. He went to high school in Atlanta, and that was always the team note when he would come to play.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
His cousin is Scott Fletcher.
Oh, heard of him?
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. He runs youth baseball programs, including one in Hawaii, after his tenure with the Hawaiian Winter Baseball League. Boy, that must be rough. We're sending you to the Hawaiian Winter League. Okay.
Jeez, too bad. Do you remember this? When he was with the Cubs, he and AJ Przinsky started a brawl at home plate. When they collided at home plate, Przinsky got up and slapped home plate, and then it was on. The dugouts cleared.
Oh, man.
Big brawl. And then he was also the one that got into it with Carlos Zambrano in the dugout, who was his teammate at the time.
Oh, wow. I do remember that.
Yeah. So I am at positive 0.1 after 2 cards. Not a strong start. Let's see. Here I got pitcher for the Bucks. It is Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Wow. 12 years in the big leagues.
Huh.
And a right-hander, too. Kind of odd. Let's see. 6 with the Bucks, 6 with the Phillies, and then some time with the Royals and the Astros. Wow, good news for me. In 2003, which was his final year, he was an all-star. It does not say for who. He split time between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Overall, he went 1-7 with a 6.14 ERA, 39 strikeouts in 63 innings, a 69 ERA plus. I am going to guess that he was probably on the Pirates to start the season, and the Pirates were awful, and they had to have an all-star, and so he was the best of the worst.
Must have been.
That's my guess.
Makes total sense.
Overall for the year, a WAR of minus 1.3. Now, he did
his all-star.
He was an all-star, so that won't be as bad. That'll be a minus 0.8, and he does have a goatee, so it's only a minus 0.7. Boy, as good as the cards were last week, they suck this week.
We used it all last week.
Yeah. Wow. That hurts.
Williams is a Hokie.
He is.
Played college ball at Virginia Tech, baby. Gotta love the Hokies.
Oh, so Mike Williams, you will remember something about his career. In 1996, he had been hit, because this is when pitchers still batted in the National League. He had been hit by a pitch. The next inning, he came inside, and Pedro Martinez was the guy that had hit him, and he threw a brushback pitch to Pedro, which Pedro got out of the way, but then Pedro charged the mound, setting off a bench-clearing brawl.
Pedro, if anyone is going to charge the mound after a chin music, it shouldn't be Pedro. He made his living doing that.
Yeah, I know, right? Pitcher-on-pitcher violence.
How dare you throw the pitch at me? Goodness gracious, you do it every game.
All right, so I'm at minus 0.6. Now, I'm going to get something here. I'm excited about this. He's a member of the A's. He's looking handsome as ever. No doubt why his nickname was Fox, beyond the fact that Fox Mulder was from the X-Files, but it is Mark Mulder. 9 years in the big leagues, 5 with the A's, 4 with the Cardinals. 2003, good news for me, all-star year. First of 2 in a row. He went 15-9 with a 3.13 ERA, led the league in complete games and shutouts. 186 innings, 128 strikeouts, a 142 ERA plus, and that is good for a WAR of 5.8.
Ooh, wow.
Plus he is an all-star, so that will be a 6.3.
Jeez, great.
I like it.
It beats my one guy.
I like it a lot. First round draft pick by the A's in 1998, and he was traded to the Cardinals for Derek Barton, Kiko Calero, and Dan Herron. Wow.
I thought you were going to say Derek Lee at first.
Derek Barton, boy, there is a polarizing figure for A's fans. A first baseman,
Sure.
First baseman that couldn't hit to save his life, but he could walk. Like the best. I think he led the league in walks once or twice.
Perfect Moneyball player.
Kiko Calero, I remember, he actually had a good season or two as a middle reliever, and then Dan Herron, just one of those guys that had a ton of talent and just had a good career, but never lived up to that much talent. Let's see. Mark Mulder, did somebody play him in Moneyball is the question. See if
Not that I remember.
I don't think they did either. Because I don't think I'm going to get my my pop culture reference because of that.
Became quite a golfer. He won the 2015 American Century Championship, premier celebrity golf tournament, and the next year he defended his title and won it again.
Nice. Sweet spot for Mark Mulder, one of the big three. Hudson,
yes.
Zito, and Mulder.
Remember that.
So that takes me up to 5.7. So I'm 1.5. Now, I'm 1.2 in first place. I've got 4 cards left, so I am in no way feeling comfortable the way these cards
the way these have been landing.
Let's see. Oh, boy. This is a guy I remember. I've told a story about this guy. He plays for the Marlins, second baseman, Luis Castillo. He was the total leadoff guy at this point. Now, this is Luis Castillo, of course, the infielder, not the Mariners starting pitcher.
Not the pitcher, no. Right.
Let's see. Had a lot of stolen bases, led the league a couple of times in his career. Good news for me, 2003 All-Star year. Also led the league in sacrifice bunts this year. Won a Gold Glove as well. I like it. He's got facial hair. I mean... This is good for me. Overall, 15 years in the big leagues. Florida for 10, the Mets for 4, and Minnesota for 2. In 2003, he hit .314 at .381 on base, 6 home runs, 39 RBI, 21 stolen bases, 19 caught stealing. Yikes! Wow. Regardless of that, as a leadoff batter, though, he walked 63 times, struck out 60.
Wow. Very impressive.
Yeah, for his career, 800 walks, 850 strikeouts. That's what
not bad.
Yeah. 106 OPS plus, and this equals a WAR of 4.4. Plus, he was an all-star and a Gold Glove, so that'll be 5.4. I can't tell if that's a mustache or not. I'll say no. Can't see his earring, so that's disappointing. He used to, I sat obviously right behind home plate for Atlanta. He used to come, and I learned this long ago. You never walk in front of the plate. You always walk behind the umpire if you're trying to get to the other batter's box. Sure. And so he would come and he would get behind the umpire and he would stand. And he would turn right to us in that camera well behind home plate, and he'd do this cross, and he had this whole routine. And so we would try to make him laugh because he would be looking right at us. So we'd try to do stuff. We got him a couple of times.
That's awesome.
All right. Boy, if one of us would have picked the Marlins, we'd be racking up the points.
Man, I guess.
I got Mike Lowell. He of singular testicular fortitude, right? Similar to John Kruk, had testicular cancer during his career. 13 years in the big leagues, 7 with the Fish, 5 with the Red Sox, 1 with the Yankees. 2003 All-Star year. I like it. And got MVP votes, 130 games, 276 average, 350 on base, 32 home runs, 105 RBI, a 128 OPS plus, and that is a WAR of 2.8, plus the All-Star will be a 3.3.
And you have pulled away. You were making it fun for a little bit.
Yeah, plus he's got a goatee. He always had a goatee. Mike Lowell. I remember he was a pretty good defensive guy, and he had some pop. Let's see, traded by the Marlins with Josh Beckett and Guillermo Mota to the Red Sox for Hanley Ramirez and some other guys. Let's see, he was also traded for a guy named Mark Johnson one time. But
nice name, missing a T.
Close, yeah. Yeah, 1999, diagnosed with testicular cancer, causing him to miss 2 months of the season. However, he went on to recover and played baseball.
2 months?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right, so I'm at 14.5. I've got 2 cards left. I'm feeling good. Here is an outfielder for the Blue Jays, Vernon Wells. Name I haven't thought of for a while. 15 years in the big leagues, 12 with Toronto, 2 with the Angels, and 1 with the Yankees. In 2003, All-Star year. And he got MVP votes. 161 games, led the league in plate appearances, hits, and doubles, as well as total bases. 317 batting average, 359 on base, 33 home runs, 117 RBI, a 132 OPS plus, and that is a WAR of 4.5, plus the All-Star will be an even 5. You
could have loaned me one of your cards.
Can't see anything on the card that's going to help me out, but I'll deal with it. First round draft pick by the Blue Jays. Wow, he was traded for Mike Napoli, who I want to say just retired, didn't he?
Did he?
2017. I guess it's not that recent.
Now, do you remember the early upper deck cards, the team checklists, and it always had a painting on the other side? Yeah, that was Wells' father, Vernon Wells.
Wow, he did those paintings.
He did. He's a very acclaimed sports artist.
Wow, that is very cool.
Yeah, I thought so. One of my buddy Jake's idols, the great Vernon Wells.
Very nice.
The painter.
All right. Well, then why wasn't he Vernon Wells Jr.?
I think he was the third, actually.
Why wasn't he Vernon Wells the third? That would have looked cool. That would have looked cool because he's got the two L's in Wells, so it would have been Wells line. Again, nobody ever contacts me about this stuff.
No, and you know what? We will lease ourselves out for cheap as far as marketing goes. You know, we don't even want that much money.
We can stick to five figures. We're not greedy. We don't need six.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm on my last card. I'm at 19.5, so I'm feeling okay.
I need a big negative here.
I don't think you're going to get it. This guy was, I think this guy was underrated. Here with the Giants, outfielder Marvin Bernard. 9 years in the big leagues, all of it with the San Francisco Giants. Let's see. He, in 2003, it was his final year. It's not going to get big numbers. Only appeared in 46 games, hit 196, 237 on base, no home runs, 4 RBIs, 32 OPS plus, and a minus 0.5 WAR. So there, you got a big negative.
It's going to get worse.
Now, unfortunately, though, he does have eye black and a mustache. So I'll get 0.2 of a point back for that.
He did admit to using roids in the 02 season.
Was he suspended?
No, because it was. It was well afterwards.
Yeah, so I don't take the hit on that.
Fine.
Well, we specifically said that you had to be named in the Mitchell Report or suspended. So looks like he's the Spanish commentator for the Giants now on radio.
Oh, that's cool.
Didn't know that. All right. But regardless, that is a 19.2, which I know my school no longer really belongs to a conference, but that does not take away the incredible math that I learned while attending the Washington State University. But I believe 19.2 is a bit higher than 4.5.
I'm going to protest that. I don't know.
So that will bump me up to 16. And again, we're just demolishing you. This is a no doubter. We're bat flipping everything. We're bat flipping pop-ups, fouls behind the plate. We're bat flipping at this point.
Look, it ain't over till it's over. Yogi said so.
Yeah, well. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Wax Facts Heroes. That's also going to wrap up the show. Thank you again for listening. We really do appreciate it. We can be found on all the socials. Just look in the show notes or just Google at Two Strike Noise. That's TWO Strike Noise. Also, don't forget to get your Hall of Fame votes in. We've been getting some more during this last week. I'd say after the new year, we're gonna make the announcement. So if you want your vote counted, be sure to get that in. And Mark, you want to tell them about our email address?
Yeah, feel free to write to us with your trivia answer. Just say hi. Let us know you've been listening to every show. That always makes us happy. You can even lie and say you have, even if you haven't. You can write to us at Two Strike Noise. Spell that out. TWO Strike Noise @gmail.com.
All right, that's going to do it. Thank you very much. Gonna be a little bit spotty the next couple of weeks. We've got the holidays going on here in the U.S., and then I've got fantasy camp right after the beginning of the year. But we're gonna fit in as many shows as we can, and then we'll get back on our regular schedule after we get back from camp. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you again, and we will see you on the next edition of Two Strike Noise.
Thank you all. God bless you. Have a great day.